Hello everyone, I'm Ralph Kiner, and welcome to the New York Mets Time Tunnel. Brought to you by our good friends at Rheingold, the dry beer. Think of Rheingold whenever you buy beer, and Mitsubishi Motors. Each week, we'll embark on a journey through the Time Tunnel, delving deep into New York Mets history. Today, we're setting the coordinates to the inaugural season of the Amazins, back when dreams were big and the game was pure. Let's go back to the spring of 1962, where the Mets faced off against the Kansas City Athletics in a riveting spring training clash. The Mets defeated the Athletics by a score of 14-7 on the strength of Don Zimmer's spectacular performance. Zimmer went 3 for 4 with 2 doubles and 4 runs batted in that afternoon. So, sit back, relax, and let's transport ourselves to Connie Mack Field in sunny West Palm Beach, Florida, as we listen to Lindsey Nelson call all the action from the top of the third inning when the Mets scored 6 runs to break the game open.
To the top half of the third inning, and the New York Mets will have the head of their batting order up, Felix Mantilla, the shortstop. He'll be followed by Rod Keneal and Gus Bell. Hayward Sullivan's throw goes down to second, the ball around the infield, and back out to pitcher John Wyatt. As Felix Mantilla steps in to lead off for the Mets, top of the third. Batting order posted in the dugout before the game had Chacon on it, but Chacon did not take batting practice in that position. Mantilla did, and of course Mantilla started the game. Right-hander John Wyatt with the first pitch to Mantilla. Outside for a ball, he bluffed a bunt. Ball one. Swing and a miss. It's 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Manager Casey Stengel spent quite a bit of time visiting with pitching coach Ed Lopat before the ball game. Lopat, of course, was his pitching coach the last year that Stengel managed the New York Yankees. Lopat replaced Jim Turner. There's a foul ball coming over and out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mr. Murphy, who is catching foul balls today? Have we delegated Mr. Kiner for that duty today?
I think we should rely on the sure hands of Mr. Ralph Kiner, yes.
Kiner is so appointed, and if struck in the teeth, he will be held accountable. If I am struck in the teeth, that is. All right, 1 ball and 2 strikes. To Felix Mantilla. Came to the Mets from the Milwaukee Braves. Wyatt's pitch, a little tight. 2 balls, 2 strikes now. Mantilla was stuck in there at the shortstop position by manager Casey Stengel when the Grapefruit League competition was opened 2 weeks ago this afternoon in St. Petersburg against the Cardinals. But it did not take Elio Chacon long to sort of take over at that position. So now they want to get another look at Mantilla. Pitches inside. It's 3-2 now to Mantilla. In the great years of the Milwaukee club, 57, 58, 59, along in there, Felix Mantilla had a big hand. He was a utility man and stepped in frequently into the lineup, gave them a big lift. There's a foul ball backing out of play. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Mantilla. Rod Keneal is on deck. Charlie Neal out of the lineup for the second consecutive day. Neal has already shown this spring that he is at top form. Here's the pitch. Pitched him tight and he walked him, so the Mets have a base runner. As Mantilla goes to first with the base on balls. That is the first walk given up by pitcher John Wyatt of the Kansas City A's, and brings up Rod Keneal, who was on Stevens' era at first base in the first inning. Rod Keneal, right-hand batter, so Kanehl. Wyatt checks. Mantilla leads. Here's a ground ball to third base, and it's going on out into left field. Wayne Cosby got a glove on it, went right on, and Mantilla goes to third. The throw is going to second, and he's off the line there. And Keneal goes into second. The Mets have runners at second and third. Wayne Cosby got over, barely touched it, and it went on out into left field. And Mantilla continued on to third. The throw went to second base. And Keneal had turned at first, kept right on going, and is in at second base. So the Mets have runners at second and third, and that's going to bring up Gus Bell with nobody out. So the Mets have a one-run lead. They're leading by a score of 3-2.
Bell, right fielder.
We're in the top half of the third inning, and they're going for more here. That is scored by the official score as a double for Rod Keneal. Scored as a two-base hit for Rod Keneal, sending Mantilla to third. All right, Bell is standing in. It's an open stance. Here's the pitch. Low and away. Ball one. There is nobody out. Bell flied out to left field in the first inning. Wyatt's pitch. Called. Strike one. 1-1. Wyatt looking in to get the sign from Haywood Sullivan. Has it now. Into the windup. There's a line drive going into center field for a base hit. Mantilla has come on to score. Keneal is coming on to score. As Tartabull fires the ball into second base, holds Bell at first, but he gets 2 runs batted in on the line single into center field, and the New York Mets lead by a score of 5-2. Gus Bell ripping the ball straight away out into center field, scoring both Mantilla and Keneal. There was no throw to the plate. It came to second base to keep Bell from advancing on the throw-in, and Frank Thomas is up now. Frank Thomas, who ripped the ball down the left field line in the first inning to drive in the first run of the ball game, got a double. There's still nobody out. Gus Bell is at first base. Wyatt's pitch to Thomas. Sent him down into the dirt. Turned him out of there. It's ball one. Gil Hodges is now on deck for the New York Mets. All right, Bell takes his lead at first. Pitch to Thomas. It is high for a ball. 2-0. The Mets took a lot of good-natured ribbing from the Dodgers after yesterday's ball game. The Dodgers saying, gee, you guys have beaten the Detroit Tigers and the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Why don't you go right on out and take on the Stonehams? Take on the Giants right now. Walter O'Malley said, I'll give you my plane and you can be on your way. Pitch is low and away. Ball 3. So it's out 3-0 now to Frank Thomas, looking down to Solly Hemus, the Mets coach at third base. Still nobody out. Score 5-2. New York leading Kansas City in the top half of the third inning. Inside ball 4, he walked him. That pushes Gus Bell up to second. Frank Thomas walks down to first. That is the second walk given up by John Wyatt, and brings up right-hand batter Gil Hodges. Done a sacrifice fly to left field in the first inning. A delegation came over today from Boca Raton to support baseball here in West Palm Beach. And they've been greeted with a sunny day, a little bit windy. Runners at first and second lead, and Hodges shortened up, took outside for ball 1. Hodges looking down to Solly Hemus now at third, shortened up as though to bunt with nobody out, shove those runners up. The Mets lead 5-2. Wyatt again goes into the stretch. Swing and a miss. Hodges took a rip at that one. Roger Craig in uniform this afternoon, moving around in the dugout area of the New York Mets. He and Al Jackson were not in uniform yesterday at Vero Beach. They were given the day off. After the victory over the Yankees, they will be pitched again next Tuesday against the Yankees, Craig and Jackson. Stretch and the pitch. Down into the dirt, dug up by catcher Haywood Sullivan. 2 balls and 1 strike. Kansas City A's have Norm Seaburn defensively at first base, Jerry Lumpy at second, Dick Hauser at short, Wayne Causey at third, Manny Jimenez in left, Jose Tortobal in center, Gino Samoli in right. Count of 2 balls and 1 strike to Gil Hodges. Foul ball. It's out of play. So the count is leveled up at 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Gus Bell, the base runner at second. Frank Thomas, the base runner at first. Here's the pitch. Foul ball. It's out of play. The count holds at 2-2 on Gil Hodges. Gil Hodges seemed to know his way around Vero Beach pretty well yesterday. He should. He was there for many, many years with the Los Angeles Dodgers. And
the game continues at the...
Gil Hodges seemed to know his way around Vero Beach pretty well yesterday. He should. He was there for many, many years with the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Brooklyn Dodgers. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And there's a fly ball going to left field. Manny Jimenez moves underneath. He is waiting and he has it. There is no advance. Both runners halfway on the fly ball to left. So there is one away as Hodges is flied to Manny Jimenez in left field. Bell returns to the bag at second. Thomas returns to the bag at first. And that will bring up third baseman Don Zimmer, right-hand batter. Zimmer singled. Is driving a run in the first inning. Don Zimmer. He was himself out at second trying to stretch it to a double. Ball that Hodges hit just now was into a strong wind. When it left the plate, looked as though it might be going deep, but it was held up, and Jimenez moved in underneath. This one is popped up foul, coming over to the right. And got very, very close to Mr. Kiner. So it goes as a strike. What became, Mr. Murphy, of our foul ball catchers?
I think they both got faked out by the telephone pole right in front of them. We're in the PA system, which is about 4 feet away, and a huge telephone pole about 5 feet away. We didn't know which way to jump.
All right, it's strike 1 to Don Zimmer. At the plate with 1 man out and runners at first and second. Rocked him back. It's 1-1. One ball, 1 strike, 1 man out. John Wyatt checking now. Set to work. Here's a pitch. That turned him out of there. 2 balls and 1 strike. The count to Don Zimmer. Don Zimmer nailed down the third base position on this ball club in a hurry when spring training opened for the New York Mets. With his hustle and his enthusiasm and the way he's been swinging that bat as well, he nailed down that position right from the start. Don Zimmer with a count of 2 balls and 1 strike right now. The pitch. And there's a drive going deep to center field. Tortobal is going back, but this one is one hop to the wall. Gus Bell is coming on to score. Thomas is at third base as the relay comes into the infield. Thomas holds at third. It's a double for Zimmer over the head of Jose Tartabull. One hop to the wall, 383 feet away in center field. And the Mets lead by a score of 6-2. They have runners at second and third. There's still only one man out, and Jim Hickman is coming up. Zimmer 2 for 2 here this afternoon, and he has batted in 2 runs, a single and a double. Frank Thomas is at third base, and Zimmer's at second, and here's Hickman up there. He flat out to right field in the second inning. Jim Hickman with Portland last year was selected by the New York Mets from the St. Louis organization. And here is a broken bat line drive into left field, dropping in for a base hit. Bell has come on to score. Zimmer's coming to the plate. He scores. The throw goes to second base. Hickman has a single to left and 2 runs batted in. And now it is 8-2. The New York Mets out in front. As Hickman broke his bat with that line drive out into left field, as it scored Frank Thomas and Don Zimmer, there is still only one man out. And Hobie Landreth is coming up. He is a left-hand batter. On the way to the plate right now. New York Mets have scored 5 runs this inning off right-hand pitcher John Wyatt of the Kansas City Athletics. Felix Mantilla started off with a walk, then Keneal doubled, Gus Bell single to drive in 2, Frank Thomas walked, Hodges flied to left, Don Zimmer doubled over the head of Jose Tartabull in center to drive in a run, and Hickman has just singled to left to drive in 2. Last time up, Landreth flied to left field. He's nothing for 1. The pitch, he watches outside for ball 1. New York Mets with a big inning here in the top half of the third at West Palm Beach, Florida, against the Kansas City Athletics. And he gets a call strike there as he brought the bat around, tried to check it, but the umpire behind the plate says he went through, so Kenneman calls it a strike. New York Mets beat the Chicago White Sox 8-4. This is that's the most runs that they have scored in a single game, and right now they're leading in this one by a score of 8-2. So they are at their all-time high right now. That pitch is inside to Hobie Landreth. It's 2 balls and 1 strike to Landreth. The Mets came into this afternoon's game with a spring record of 6 victories and 7 losses. Here's a ground ball going down to first. Norm Sebring fields it in fair territory, steps on the bag, and he's out. Hickman moves to second. There are 2 men down now. Landreth topping that one down the line to first, and Norm Sebring fielded the ball near the bag. Hickman, of course, moving to second, and Bob Miller is the 9th man to come to the plate this inning for the New York Mets. They've scored 5 runs on 4 hits on this inning. 5 runs on 4 hits. With a couple of walks thrown in. Hickman takes his lead at second base now. As right-hander John Wyatt is in pitching position. The pitch is on the way. And there's a line drive over the head of Sebring down the line in right field. Hickman is turning third and coming out. It's Samoli's throw. It's coming into first base. And Bob Miller, the pitcher, has delivered with a run batted in on a line drive single over the head of Sebring. He jumped for it, couldn't pull it down. And the Mets have batted completely around, and leadoff man Felix Mantilla is coming up. And now the Mets have scored 9 runs. This is the most that they have scored in any ball game ever. 9-2, the Mets over the Kansas City Athletics. Felix Mantilla started all of this with a walk. Coming up for his second time here in the top half of the third inning. Felix Mantilla chokes up just a little bit on the bat. Pitcher Bob Miller leads at first. John Wyatt delivers in there for a called strike 1. The New York Mets with their biggest inning ever here at the top of the third against the Kansas City Athletics. The Athletics were rained out yesterday at Pompano Beach. Here's a pitch low and away. They were scheduled to play the Washington Senators at Pompano yesterday, but were rained out. Miller leads at first. The pitch took a lot off of that one, and it is tapped and pulled foul. Wayne Causey comes over in foul territory to field it and toss it back. So it is 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Mets have scored 6 runs on 5 hits. In this inning, they lead by a score of 9-2. Gordon Jones throwing in the bullpen for the Kansas City A's. Right-handed Gordon Jones. That pitch is low and outside. It's 2-2 now to Felix Mantilla. I remember the 1957 season in Pittsburgh when Mantilla collided with Bill Bruton on a fly ball to deep shortstop, and Bruton was out the rest of the season for the Milwaukee Braves. Pitches outside, Mantilla came back and played a good part of the remainder of the season. It's 3-2 now to Felix Mantilla. Two men out, 3-2. Pitcher Bob Miller on at first. Will be moving with the pitch. There goes Miller. 3-2. He walked him. So Mantilla draws his second walk of this inning. That's the third walk given up by pitcher John Wyatt. Miller's at second. Mantilla's at first, and Rod Keneal is coming up. He doubled in the third inning. Sent a ground ball out past Wayne Causey, who tried to backhand it and could not, and it went on out into left field and is scored as a double for Rod Keneal. Still 2 men out, 6 runs in this inning for the New York Mets. Foul ball. Been off and out of play. Foul balls get over here in a hurry, don't they? Tell you, that's the man I'm watching today.
The oldest thing in baseball, know where the ball is.
I don't want to lose it. Strike 1 count to Rod Keneal. He's been on base both times he's been up. We were saying earlier, manager Hank Bauer of the Kansas City A's was very complimentary of this young fellow before the ball game. Foul ball coming over along the first base line where we're located. A strike 2 count. Manager Hank Bauer of the A's was saying that he thought Rod Keneal make a very excellent utility man because he can be used as an outfielder, as an infielder, second baseman here today. It's in there for a called strike 3. He struck him out to retire the side. So the New York Mets go out in the top half of the third inning on 6 runs, 5 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. And so at the end of 2 1/2 innings of play, the score is the New York Mets 9 and the Kansas City A's 2.